for the Bob Dillard pregame show. With Coach Bob Dillard and sports editor Tommy Bryant. Brought to you by Chum's Convenience Stores with 4 locations to serve you better. Lebanon Heating and Air Conditioning. By Greg Brothers Car Wash with 2 locations now in Lebanon. And by TRW Commercial Steering Division. And now with the show, here's your host, Tommy Bryant.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Bob Dillard pregame show. I'm your host, Tommy Bryant. Our guest, as always, Lebanon High Blue Devil head coach Bob Dillard. Coach, last week, the tough 14-6 loss to Mount Juliet. How did the coaches go into this week of practice? What was your approach?
Well, we came in Monday and we decided that we needed to go back to square one and learn how to play defense. We didn't do a very good job of that against Mount Juliet, and we came in Monday and just started from scratch and went back to square one and started teaching technique and focusing on the little things, which we should have been doing all along.
From looking at the film, Mount Juliet blocked us, and we didn't do a very good job of taking on their blocks.
No, we didn't. We just didn't do anything very well that I thought, other than we did throw the football fairly well. But other than that, we didn't have very many bright spots.
Got to give Mount Juliet credit. 54 snaps running the football, just one little bobble, and they took advantage of our inability to make some plays up front, and they picked up those 2 touchdowns and won the football game.
Yeah, their guys did a good job. Coach Mantooth and his staff, they had their young men ready to play, which is a testimony to the kind of job that they're doing down there. Their young men, I thought, were very focused. They score and they just get up and walk back to the huddle like they knew they were going to score. And that's the kind of attitude that we've got to have is confidence, and we didn't have that Friday night.
We talked about emotion last week. We had a big emotional play on the first play of the game, the 69-yard touchdown pass, Pitt to Carson. After that, Mount Juliet just went about it business as usual, and it was a long time before we got the football back.
Yeah, every time we got the football, we felt like that we had to do something with it, because if we punted to them or turned the football over, it may be 8 or 9 minutes before we get it back, because we weren't able to stop them. So, but they did. We were fortunate. We had a big play, the first play of the ball game, a play that we felt like all week would give them some trouble, as well as we ran the sweep, and we faked the sweep and hit Elliott backside on a drag, and he winds up outrunning 2 or 3 of their guys. And if you could ride it out, you couldn't have written a better start for the football game as far as we're concerned. But we just we didn't remain focused, and Mount Juliet did, and just kept bringing it to us all night.
We tried to come back and run that same play in the second half, and it looked like for a moment the play was there, but Diego Oldham got a good rush on our quarterback.
And we didn't get their nose guard blocked. Elliott was open, and Damon couldn't get him the football because he was getting pressure out of Oldham, their nose guard. So, that messed that play up. But it was open the second time.
As we prepare for Shelbyville, the team that we'll be looking at here in just a few minutes on Cable 3's replay, another wing tee football team. Are there similarities in the way they run the wing tee as to what Mount Juliet does?
About the only similarity between them and Mount Juliet is the way they line up their formation. They do not do the same things that Mount Juliet did. They run a little more outside than what Mount Juliet did, and they've got the speed to do that. They throw the football a little more than Mount Juliet threw it, and they do a good job with the people that they have. They've got a lot of speed and a lot of athletes, and they do a good job getting them the football.
Defensively, kind of a different look, a 4-3 sort of look.
Yeah, it's the best we can figure out. It's a 4-3, and they'll line their strong safety down anywhere they want to up in the front, and they bring a lot of people after you. They pick a gap and they come hard, trying to anticipate the snap count and get some penetration into our backfield. So we're gonna have to do a good job picking up their stunts and getting them blocked on the line of scrimmage and cutting out their penetration.
You talked about when you met with your team on Thursday that you were not going into the game with a lot of plays, but the plays you had, you wanted to be able to run against anything they threw at you.
Right. We feel like if we can go in with 4 or 5 plays that we can run regardless of what kind of front they line up in, that we're better off doing that than we are with a whole sheet full of plays and having to think about trying to check to a different play when they come up in a different front and that kind of thing. So we've tried to keep it simple for our guys, and hopefully we won't have any missed assignments because of the simplicity of our game plan.
Good luck to you and the Blue Devils. Let's see if we can bounce back and pick up a win on the road.
Thank you, Tommy.
That's it for this edition of the Bob Dillard pregame. Stay tuned, and we'll have kickoff for you in just a moment.
The Bob Dillard pregame show has been brought to you by Chum's Convenience Stores with 4 locations to serve you better. By Lebanon Heating and Air Conditioning. By Greg Brothers Car Wash, now with 2 locations in Lebanon. And by TRW Commercial Steering Division.
Recent talk of live TV coverage at Lebanon High School home football games. Hello, I'm Sid Cripps, and I come to you today as a concerned parent and active supporter of all of the sporting teams at Lebanon High School. Last Tuesday night at their county commission meeting, there was an attempt to pass a resolution to carry down to the school board, whereas this would be recommending to the school board that they allow live TV coverage at the Lebanon High School home football games. This has already been voted on at the last school board meeting, and this was defeated 3 votes to 1. Folks, I can't see where live TV coverage at these ball games would in any way benefit Lebanon High School. All of the other sporting teams at Lebanon High School depend on the football. Football does draw the largest crowds and, of course, the largest amount of money, and this money is used to help fund all the other sports at Lebanon High School. Very little, if any, of the taxpayers' money is spent to put a football team on the field at Lebanon High School. I say if we've got a program or if we've got a system in our county government that is this self-supported, I say we leave it alone. We leave it like it is. Don't fix it if it's not broke. I advise you to call your county commissioner and voice your opinion on this issue, whether it's pro or con. Folks, you've heard my opinion. I hope it's yours for the sake of Lebanon High School and our kids. And as always, go Big Blue. Thank you.
Lennox Video, in association with Lebanon Cablevision, proudly presents Lebanon Blue Devil Football. Your play-by-play host, Clyde Harville. With color commentary by Tommy Bryan. With the game stats, Terry Stafford. And the sideline reporter for the game, John Ryan.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's ball game between the Lebanon Blue Devils and the Shelbyville Golden Eagles. We're here in Bedford County, Tennessee, for this big matchup as the Shelbyville Golden Eagles, hosting the Blue Devils, are 4-0, ranked number 3 in the state in Class 4A. The Lebanon Blue Devils will be trying to rebound after a big loss to cross-county rival Mount Juliet last week. We'll be back in a moment.
Back at Shelbyville and down to our field reporter, John Bryan, with the report on the toss of the coin.
Thank you, Tommy. Jerry Wallace, the referee of tonight's ball game, tossed the coin, and Shelbyville won that toss. They elected to defer. They will defend or kick away from the scoreboard end of the end zone. So Lebanon will receive the ball first in this first half of play. Our head linesman tonight is William Sanders. Our referee, as I said, is Jerry Wallace. The umpire, Frank Marks. The line judge, Mike Silas. The back judge, John Troy. And the clock operator, Willie McNary. Back to you, Tommy.
Thanks, John. Appreciate the good work down there on the sideline. Lebanon and Shelbyville ready to tee this thing off and to get started. Shelbyville a 4A football school. They dress out their 9th graders with the varsity. Basically, they've got about 21 players total that they could choose from. Lebanon High School, on the other hand, dresses out just sophomores, juniors, and seniors. We've got about 70 people out there. Of that bunch, about 26, 27 could be considered active and ready to go tonight. Lebanon High has been bothered with some injuries. We do have some of those folks back tonight. Chris Stafford saw limited duty last week against Mount Juliet due to that broken thumb. He is going to start tonight and should play most of the way this evening. He's in a smaller, lighter cast. And wide receiver Kyle Zachary, nearly 100% after missing most of the last 2 games with a shoulder injury. Jeremy Rich, defensive back, and defensive back Chris Lehue still out of action with knee injury. Shelbyville will kick off to Lebanon. Kicking off for the Golden Eagles, and he's a good one. That's Chuck Smith. He's the kid they recruited off the soccer team. Good, strong leg. Joel Griffin will stand at about his 5-yard line for the Blue Devils. And here with the play-by-play call of tonight's football action, WANT FM 99 Sports Director Clyde Harville.
Okay, thank you, Tommy. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Lebanon and Shelbyville. Blue Devils need one here tonight in the worst sort of way. Griffin is back, and Smith is set to kick, and the whistle blows, and this one is underway. Smith's kick is long and deep. Down the middle, it's going to go to the short man, and Zachary going to bobble it at the 6, pick it up, get to the 10, out to the 15, knocked out of him. Had his underpinning knocked out under him after he crossed the 20 out to about the 22-yard line. Lebanon will play it at that point. Blue Devils 1st and 10 at their own 22.
Tell you what, I kind of wish Griffin would play that like a center fielder and wave everybody else off and run up and catch that football. If he comes up 5 yards, it's easier for him to do that than it is for Zachary to go back 3 and to make that catch.
Blue Devils going to be looking at a big defense. They're young, but they're big and quick. C splits to the near side. Zachary splits wide right. Blue Devils moving from your right to left as we look down on the field. The call and the give goes to Stafford. He spins away and is knocked down for no gain. Got back to the line of scrimmage. And in there to make the stop is big number 55, Jay Davis, who is getting a start tonight on defense for the Shelbyville Eagles.
Across that front for Lebanon, Cale Cripps, 248 senior, Chris Hicks, 220 junior, Chris Bain, 215 junior is the center, Kenneth Nelson, a senior, 195 pounds, Ryan Alds, 265 senior.
Lebanon now will bring 2 wide receivers to the near side or the wide side of the football field, and Pitt will make the call. 2nd down, 10 for the Blue Devils. The pitch goes to Stafford again, and Stafford dodges one man, gets 2 yards, gets knocked down at the 24. Boy, Shelbyville is quick on defense, and the Blue Devils are going to have their hands full tonight. You can see that much already, Tom.
Lebanon has limited the playbook somewhat tonight, Clyde. They have trimmed things down. Bob says he wants to come into this game with 5 football plays that he knows his team can block. At least they know their assignments against any defensive front Shelbyville puts up. Checking into the football game is Reeves at the fullback spot, and Griffin slides back to tailback.
All right, it'll be 3rd down and 9 now for the Blue Devils. Wideouts left and right is C and Zachary, and Pitt is back to throw. Swings it out to Griffin. He's got a little room. 20, 25, 30. Griffin near first down yardage. He may be a half yard shy, but let's see where they will spot the football. They hit Griffin on a little swing pass, and you wonder why we haven't seen a lot more of that, because you got to get the ball to this kid in the open field.
John, it's a good-looking play. We're just a little short of the first down.
Going to be about a half-yard short, Tommy. Going to bring 4th down short situation. That is a good play. Got the ball out there to him quick. He had a lot of speed built up, was able to pick up the big yardage, but it's 4th down.
So Griffin will pick up about 8 on the play, and it'll bring up a 4th and we'll call it 4th and 1. The football at about the 32, and the Blue Devils are going to go for it on a 4th and a half yard to go. Hankins split to the near side, in it split in. Zachary is wide right. Pitt makes the call. Pitt gets Shelbyville to jump, and that's what they wanted to do. I don't think the Blue Devils had any notion of going for it. They wanted the Eagles to jump, and they drew them off sides, and it'll be 1st down Blue Devils.
Good job by the junior quarterback, Damon Pitt, in changing the voice inflection, changing the snap count just slightly, drawing Shelbyville offside. Here's a note about the Pitt family. Justin Pitt, Jason's older brother, gets the start tomorrow at tackle for Carson Newman College in their Saturday afternoon game against Elon.
Zachary and C to the near side. Pitt calling the signal. Shelbyville coming, and they pitch it back to Griffin. Got a hole. Griffith 35, 40, crosses to the 41-yard line. Actually, I'll mark it at about the 40.5, and Griffin is going to pick up about 4.5 yards on the carry.
Well, a good job by the offense. Shelbyville crammed the line of scrimmage, had a lot of people pinching, bringing those people in toward the quarterback in the center. We were able to get the tailback out on